Mafia, the city of lost heaven. Is it worth a buy? Let's not even read the words, guys. Of course it's worth a buy. Of course it's worth a buy. This game is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. I ran the UK website for this. I kind of knew a few of the developers as well. I had them on my ICQ. Remember ICQ? Yeah, Mafia World was the site that I made, and I ran it, and I was massively into Mafia. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing, and it's just come out on GOG, and so I thought, hey, I'm going to whab this because my copy doesn't work anymore, my CD copy from back then. So I thought I would just buy it again and play it, and I've been playing it all day, guys, like all day. I completed the game a long time ago, but the best thing about this game is it's not just the big campaign, which lasts about 20 hours. You've then got two other modes of the game. You've got a free ride mode where you can just drive around this whole of the world. You can set how many police, pedestrians, traffic density and all that. Unlock a shit ton of cars. And there's a free ride extreme mode where you do these crazy, freaky missions. There's about 20 of them, which each unlock a special prototype car. Like mad missions, nothing to do with the Mafia. Some of them involve aliens, in fact. And I did all of them as well. And you have your own little house with an electric garage door, guys. And you can just build up your own collection of cars in there. And it's just sublime. It's proper game. And this is when games were great. I said the golden age of gaming is around about 1995 through to 2005. That decade was just a joy to be alive in and playing computer games. And that's why I'm so sad about how shitty games have become now. Can you believe this living, breathing world was made 15 years ago, guys? 15 years ago. Where are we now? Where are we now? Where are we now? The moment you know you... Mac, that's David Bowie. Shut up. But where are we now with these open world driving shooters? We've gone backwards. They're actually worse than what Mafia is now. Look at GTA. Yeah, it's a great game, GTA, but compared to this? No. Watch Dogs, compared to this? No. So I'm sorry. You see, what this game has that all them other games lack is immersion. That's what this game has. You play the life of Tommy Angelo. He's pretty much Goodfellas. The script of this is Goodfellas. You're grassing guys to the police and you're telling the police your story. So you're living through your life, essentially, starting in 1930s. It's the Capone era, guys. The Tommy gun era. The cars are beautifully modelled. Absolutely brilliantly modelled. They handle so well as well. It even supports force feedback and steering wheels, guys. Back in 2002. Oh yeah. We did games properly back then. This is why I get so angry. This is why so many young gamers get angry with me today and say, oh, you just hate everything. No, it's just that my standards are from the 90s when games were great. You just don't get it. That games are fucking awful now, full of loot crates and shit. You know, you get like bits of games. We got the full fucking game back then, and the games were so much better than the games of today. This still holds up 15 years later, guys. 15 years later. You join a crew, you're a taxi driver, and do you know what? You're a taxi driver and you actually have to do that job. You have to be a taxi driver in this game. You have to pick people up, drop them off, and you've got a little map, and you've got to get them there on time, and it's so damn good. And then you join a mob. I won't tell you too much about the story because the story is pretty good. You join a mob and you start doing the driving for the mob and a few hits later on. You basically are the getaway guy, and you have some amazing chases in this game, some absolutely amazing ones. And the world is huge. It's broken down into districts, and it's all just seamless. It's just brilliant. The map's easily accessible on tab, but if you've got dual monitors, I highly recommend you go and download a copy and just have it on your screen on your other screen if you can, because that makes it so much easier. But everything in this game is a living, breathing city. You have traffic lights, you have police, and you have other gangsters just driving around. You might be on a mission to go and collect protection money, but if you break the speed limit and a copper sees you, they'll come after you. And you've got a choice. You can either pull in and pay the fine or try and outrun them. If you've got a gun drawn, they'll come at you, and you're in deep shit. If you see other mobs, other mafiosa, if you bang into them in the car and they become aware that who you are, that you're from a rival cartel, you're in trouble again. If you shoot one of them, there'll be a bloody war on the streets. It's so freaking real, and there's loads of pedestrians just going about their own business. There's loads of buildings you can go and do. There's garages where you can repair your car. You even have fuel in the cars, guys. Your cars have fuel. They can run out of fuel. There's petrol stations where you pull in and you fill up your motherfucking car, guys. That's what we're talking. This is when games were great. This is when gaming was fucking great, guys. Not the shit dross that we're all fed now. This is proper gaming from the fucking 90s. Well, noughties. That era. That decade. It's also very hard, this game. As the missions go on, they get harder and harder. Some are pretty easy, but some of them aren't. And so it has something for everybody. It has some annoying missions. I always remember the race. I always remember the race. You have to... there's one of the missions where you have to win a race around a circuit. I sat for about an hour redoing that over and over and over again. Oh my goodness, I get annoyed. That's one of the downsides of this game. Let's talk about the downsides of this game. Obviously, all of these things that I'm going to say are because it's 15 years old. Back then, this was groundbreaking. The only thing that would had similar to this was GTA 3, but GTA 3 was nowhere near as good as this. The living, breathing city in GTA 3 was garbage compared to how authentic the one is in Mafia City of Lost Heaven. It's just so real. You've got trams, you've got trains, and you can get on them all, by the way. The trams and the trains, oh yeah, they stop at stops. It's I can't get through to you that this is just a live city. It's a live city. Everybody's just going around the business doing that, and you feel so part of it. And you know, it's what I was going to say is the downside is some of they're not cutscenes, they're like graphic engine cutscenes like in Half-Life, and sometimes you have to get a bit too close to trigger it off, which can be a little bit of an annoyance. The gunplay is also not too good with the third-person camera. The recoil on the Tommy gun is ridiculous, and the sawn-off shotgun, you don't really see where you're aiming it. And the gunplay is not brilliant, guys, I'm going to say, but it's 15 years old. We've made leaps and bounds in physics and things like that since then in gaming, and this one does show its age in that area, but everything else, bloody hell, guys, great. But coming back to the immersion of this game, guys, I mentioned this in a video just the other week about Mafia, and to give you an idea, to do a mission, and all missions go this way, you come out of Salieri's bar, he's the guy that you work for. You have to go and see the armory guy and get your weapons for the particular mission. Then you go and see the guy who's going to give you the wheels for the mission. Then you have to drive out of your garage. Now, your mission could be right across the city into the countryside, a long, long way away, and you've got to drive. There's no fast travel. F*** that. Why would you ever want to fast travel in a game like this? You've got to drive around, controlling your car, and it's so easy with a mouse and keyboard, controlling the vehicle. It's done so well, but you've got to obey the speed limits. You've got to keep an eye on, you've got a little radar. Other Mafia cars are in orange, police cars are in blue. If you speed or go through a red light and the police sees you, I've already mentioned what happens. So you've got to keep an eye on that. You've got a limiter that you can press a button and it'll limit the car to the speed limit, which is great. You can just, like, if you're not in a hurry, you can just do that. But you've got to watch the traffic lights, watch for trams, and you've got to drive there. Once you've got to where you've got to go to, you will then do the mission, do the hit, take somebody out, get your protection money, do whatever you've got to do, steal shipments, go and bribe somebody, whatever you have to do. There is a shit ton of different missions in this. But once you've finished the mission, it doesn't just end like games do today. Alright, you've done the mission, now you're back at Salieri's bar. No, you're not. You're still out there in the middle of fucking nowhere. Now you're going to get back. And you have to drive every single mile back. You might need petrol, you might not need petrol, you might have a run-in with the police or another mob, who knows. But it's that immersion, it's that living and breathing the life of a gangster that this game brings across like no other Mafia game or any other gangster game has. In fact, very few games at all. It just, you feel it, you get into the character, the role of this guy, and that's what I like in a game. It's, yeah, some people might say, oh, it's boring, I want to fast travel. Well, you shouldn't play games like this. If you want to fast travel, don't play games like this, because at the end of the day, these games were made for immersive gamers. People who want to take their gaming seriously, they want to get into the role, and this does it so well. It does it so well. You got your 20-hour campaign, then like I say, you got your free ride mode where you can just limit the police and whatever, and it's totally sandbox. You can live your own Mafia life in this. get loads of cars, and then there's the free ride extreme. I can't tell you how many hours I've played this. It's over 1,000 easily over 1,000 hours. I mean, I played this for months and months and months and months and months and months. A review of Mafia would not be complete without mentioning one thing: the music. I don't know what to say. This is probably the best soundtrack of a game that I've ever heard. I can't play any of the music for you now because the whole thing's copyrighted to shit. I've already tried it and I don't want to get copyright flagged for it, but the music in this game, the radio music in your car, is amazing. But the actual soundtrack for the game, the main Mafia theme, is probably the best gaming theme ever written. It's a Philharmonic Orchestra. I think it's over in the Ukraine, and it's just insane, guys. A quick note: when you do buy this on Good Old Games, the music won't work in the game. You have to go and do a little fix on the forums, which took me 5 minutes. It's all there on the Good Old Games forums, how to fix the in-game music, and you can get it working, and it's absolutely fine. So there you go, guys. That's Mafia, the City of Lost Heaven. It is definitely worth a buy. It's 15 years old. It might look a little bit rough around the edges. The gunplay might be a little iffy, and a few of the world physics might be a little bit off, but there's no denying this is one of the best computer games ever written, and I think everybody should play this game, especially the developers of today, and just to see how little we have come on since 2002. In fact, in my opinion, we've gone backwards.